I'd like to just ask you, those that are here, all of you brothers, and you are from various different countries, in whose countries mawlid is celebrated, or the milad of the Prophet is celebrated, and people, Muslims, do celebrate the Prophet's milad, I just want you to raise your hands, please, properly, all of you. Those that in whose countries it is celebrated. Okay, now, please, that's fine. This means this is the majority. If you go to any mosque, Dublin Mosque, Clonsky Mosque, ask the same question. The amount of people that will raise hands is always bigger than the amount of people that will not raise hands. You have seen yourself now that the people that have raised the hands are bigger. Now, today I'm not giving you any Quranic evidence, because I have given throughout my last few years that I have talked about the subject. I have told you many Quranic evidences, hadith evidences, that celebrating the milad is permissible. And if you want to go in detail, go online to our website and listen to the lectures. But just now I'm giving you one evidence that I have never used before. Now, there is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, which Imam Bukhari has narrated, and that is, لا تجمعوا أمتي على الضلالة. My ummah will never be together in majority on an ignorant thing, on an ignorant practice, on an ignorant theology, point of theology, or an ignorant aqidah, or an ignorant ibadah, or amal. Holy Prophet ﷺ said, لا تجمعوا أمتي على الضلالة. And the background of this is when the Prophet said, you know, there is a hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said 73 sects will exist in my ummah. One will go to Jannah, all other will go to hell. The Sahaba were, and by the way, just to tell you, all others will not always be in hell. Remember that. All the other sects will not always be in hell, because the Prophet ﷺ said, in my ummah, which means he included them in my ummah, in his ummah. So they will be in hell until the punishment is over for whatever their beliefs were. Unless someone has a kufr belief, then he will be kafir and he will always be in hell. So the Prophet ﷺ, when he said this to the Sahaba, many Sahaba were shocked and they were very worried. And they said, Ya Rasulullah ﷺ, can you please tell us, how do we know which people from the 73 group is the right one, will go to paradise? The Prophet ﷺ then said the following matan text. He said, لا تجمعوا أمتي على الضلالة. My ummah will never be together on an ignorant thing, will never have an ijma, never have a consensus. So alaykum bis sawad al-azam. So what you should do is, in all matters of practices, in all matters of aqidah practices, alaykum bis sawad al-azam, follow the largest opinion, which means the majority of the believers, because the majority will never be wrong. Now I asked you, in whose countries it is celebrated? Throughout, most of you raised your hands. This is the practice of Mawlid al-Nabi, celebration of Mawlid al-Nabi, from the east to the west, Africa, Asia, Middle East, except few countries that are indoctrinated with a particular ideology. They don't celebrate it, but those countries celebrated it 100 years ago. Before these countries came into existence, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait even until now celebrates it. But Saudi Arabia, they never celebrate it now, but they used to do it 70, 80 years ago. And Saudi Arabia did not exist. So what we should do is we should follow the major opinion. Now we should celebrate. But here I would like to give you some advice, nasiha.